Sing Scarlett and Shelby here with Tyler, and today we are recapping the World University Games. What we told you the last time we talked to you, we had about 5 different things we were looking for in the tournament. We're going to talk about did we see those 5 things in this, and then a few extra observations that we saw in addition to those. And a little housekeeping, we will be having an interview coming out later this week, or it might already be out, depending on when you watch this. I can't tell the future when you're watching this, with Adlee Blacklock from this team, who was hooping over there in Germany. I mean, she had some fun plays. I can't wait to talk to her. Appreciate her and the team helping us set that up. It'll be a good time. Y'all wanted to hear from a player after they brought home the silver medal. You're going to get to hear from a player. And then we're moving into soccer. A lot of soccer coverage coming up next week. Don't worry. They're getting ready to have their first game. They had media day today. Some good stuff on YouTube. You can go watch that now if you want to hear a little bit from the players. Or Menace Sam Courtright is back, y'all. There's your hint. She's out there talking about going to the Elite Eight and Final Fours. That's why I love Sam Courtright. So that's kind of a little bit of what's ahead for Sing Scarlett. Wrapping up basketball this week, so to speak. Going full-fledged into soccer, because it's soccer season soon. And then we'll geek into the other sports and volleyball and women's basketball and men's basketball. Of course, football. We'll cover football. There's a lot of people. But that's your kind of housekeeping and update on what's ahead on the show. Like, subscribe. If you watch us every week and you don't subscribe, genuinely, do you hate us? Or is there a reason? If there's a reason, let us know in the comments so I can tell you why that's a silly reason and get you past that. But yeah, all those things, appreciate it. All right, Tyler, how's it going?
Yeah, I mean, the whole slogan that I guess the team has been pushing propaganda-wise was, silver medal that feels golden. And I'm like, okay, like, I could get on board with that. Obviously,
Say
I'm
your
still...
truth, Tyler. Say your
yeah.
truth. It's okay. We're all comparing.
I mean, no, I mean, I'm not going to...
gold medal. We don't
I know, we wanted
lie.
the gold. No, I know. No, yeah. I need to quit being so media trained with that. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm disappointed. I mean, like... I'm sorry, like, China was just one of those opponents I just am never on board with losing to, but it just happened that way, and I mean, I think there was a lot of good things that came out of that, which we'll get into. I think there's a lot more positive than negative, and that's always a big plus, especially with carrying that momentum on how, like, we were in the slums. We still haven't won a game in February since 2022, and then we went on that little March run, and now we kind of brought more of that in, but now we have new blood, and it's kind of like mixing in right. So, yeah, we didn't get our gold medal, but I mean, I can kind of get on board a little bit with the feels golden thing. Like maybe there's a golden era coming for us in the future, and that's what I'm super excited about. So I'm trying to look at the brighter side here.
The silver linings, you might say.
Yes, the silver line. There we go.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I wanted them to win gold. Absolutely. I think China is just a really good basketball team. Very impressed. I said that in the little brief preview kind of recap of what had been going on last week before the game started on Friday. I think we put that up Thursday. And I meant it. Like, I genuinely thought China was the best team that I'd seen, most consistent team that I'd watched in the tournament besides us. And then even us is just because we were so limited. We hadn't really played a 4-quarter basketball game, and they were just consistently playing good for 4 quarters in every single one of those games. They're just a little bit of a machine. Like, I believe this. I will stand 10 toes behind it. Someone can come call me an idiot if they want to. But I genuinely believe you took that exact roster, put them in the Big 12, that would be a top 5 team in the Big 12, if not competing higher than that. I'm just saying top 5 to be respectful of the other teams in the Big 12, but they play good basketball. They don't play... A lot of those teams over there at FIBA were like bully ball. There wasn't a lot of that coming from China. It was genuinely good basketball. They had great size at every position, really. And dogs, their guards. I mean, I would sign number 12 and number 14 right now. Bring them over. I mean, I like their guards too. Don't get me wrong. Sorry, I don't want. They're great players, great shooters. That team shot like 55% from 3. What the hell are you supposed to do with that, Tyler? Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to win gold. They wanted to win gold. You could tell that they were upset. I love that about them. They weren't happy with the silver. But they should be proud. There's a lot of things they did well we're going to get into. But the China game, we controlled the first quarter. We looked really good. And I was like, oh, wow, this is going better than I thought it was going to go. But we were gassed, Tyler. I know you didn't get to watch the first half, but we were sucking air like 5 minutes in. And I was like, this is just not going to go well. Like, I just knew we weren't going to be able to win the game. I wanted them to prove me wrong, but I was like, I just feel for them at this point, like how tired they were. And even at halftime, they kept the video stream on in the background. China didn't even go to the flipping locker room. They're like warming up at halftime, and we don't come out until like 30 seconds before it starts because we're exhausted and like using our halftime as we should. So that was just the difference. And they knew that. They had a great game plan. They ran us into the ground. We got in a transition game, and we played well that way. And so the first quarter went good for us, but China knew that we would wear down, and we did. And they just got a lot of open looks, and they're really good shooters. Really, it's kind of like Iowa State on steroids, is what we were talking about before. They have big, shooters around them, and their big is very big at 6'7" as well. Pretty decently mobile. So I just thought they were a really good team. I'm not gonna lie. I think if we had a longer bench, we could have probably gotten after them pressure wise and maybe beaten them that way, but we couldn't even press. So, but yeah, so that's kind of your China overview. They did lose. Took home a silver. Absolutely should be proud. I wasn't sure how this tournament was going to go. I said that in our preview. I was hoping they would at least get bronze, and they ended up with silver, so I can't be too mad about it other than being competitive. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what you said. I think silver always just feels so weird because, when you bronze, you have to win that game to get bronze. But silver, you get it. Yeah, it's just like really off. It just feels weird. But yeah, no, I definitely think that that team was probably the best team. And at least I got to see us, with that day of rest, like really kind of regroup and then hold together for as long as we did. Because I will not lie, like I thought that the end of that Hungary game kind of like pissed me off a little bit. I thought that it just got way too close. Yeah, it got way too close for comfort. We were blowing way too many leads. So it was really good to kind of see, once we kind of got a little bit of rest, we were able to hold on for that long as we did with China just to kind of see like, okay, some things like kind of changed a little bit. But that was kind of my biggest takeaway with that.
There's a difference between being tired and needing to push through it and your legs just like not working. And
right.
They really did push through the tired. I don't think there was any like cop outs. Like they wanted to win. I mean, Jalynn Bristow I've never seen Jalynn Bristow die for a basketball. Have you ever seen Jalynn Bristow die for a basketball?
I don't think I have.
You could tell how exhausted she was, and she dove and almost made it.
She did.
Pinky toe, touchdown bounce. Like they were as they possibly could. Their legs just physically weren't working at times. Like I felt bad for them. So like I couldn't really be mad. I was like, oh, this is not going to turn out well. We're going to get into the end of the game synergy thing with Hungary because they did hang on, Tyler, but they also went and took it because they went and won that game, which is something that we wanted to see. So we'll get to that.
True.
But we'll go in order. First thing that we had talked about were would we get any hints of scheme changes offensively or defensively? Tyler, did you see any hints? Or like if you didn't, what would you think about offense and defense overall?
I thought that the offense looks like light years better than last year, in my opinion. I feel like, granted, I mean, yeah, we did have Gaston on our team, so we were running through her quite a bit, but at the same time, I felt like that our guard play was. I felt like our guard play was just a whole of a lot better. I feel like that we were distributing the ball really well. We were finding really good open looks, and then I'm sure you'll dig into it more, but just the confidence. No one was scared to shoot that ball. Like I remember, like I think was it Denae? She didn't even make a single 3-pointer in the Germany game, and she was 14. Just still like. I know it still came up with 14 points. So I really love to see that because last year's team, I felt like last year's team, their mentality was all defense, and then it was like we would have to pray that someone would make a shot so that we could, at least keep it within 10. Now we were like, okay, we can hang in there and we can play back and forth basketball. Yeah, now it's just like get a stop. But that's what I thought offensively.
Yeah, well, a big part of that I think was the shot clock. They have a shorter shot clock, 24 seconds overall. And then it goes down to 14 on a rebound or on a turnover. I don't know how you do this. I don't know if they're gonna be gutsy enough to do this, but I swear to God, leave shot clocks at 24 seconds in our gym until game day. And then on game day, all of a sudden it'll say 30 and it'll say reset to whatever on that's fine. But in practice, we don't need to change anything because I agree. We look like a different team, which we are. There's a lot of new faces. And you said playing through Gaston. And she absolutely was our leading scorer, but I feel like we didn't really play through her a lot. Like a lot of what Gaston was getting was she was offensive rebounding. Like we did.
True. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Hey, we can do that with Jada when she's out there, or Sarah when she's out there. But it wasn't like we were coming down and like passing it to Gaston and say go to work. Like she was just going to work on the boards, or she would get a
she had the
getting within the flow of the offense. So you could see how we could fit someone else in there. It's not going to be the same, but you could see it. So that's why it gives me some encouragement where I'm like, yeah, she was there, but it was just the way in which and I think it was a shot clock. So I don't know how, if they're brave enough to do that, but like genuinely, whatever they've been practicing since June with this whole shot clock thing, and they've talked about it, how they've all enjoyed it, and it has helped. You saw it, it helps. And so that might be insane, but can we not just keep practicing as if there's a 24 and a 14-second shot clock? I know we show up on game days, it's going to be longer. Cool, we'll have more time when we look up on the clock. But can we just practice with the shorter one still? So we train ourselves?
Yep.
My fear is we get this team and they have 30 seconds or whatever it is to work with, and we're going to start just passing around and being, we still got 20 seconds on the shot clock. Oh, we got plenty of time left to find a good shot, and then we don't find a good shot when we should have taken it 10 seconds ago. But in this scenario, they had to take it because it was only 4 seconds left or whatever. I think that was really good for them. Like they thought it was. Gerlich said that. Denae said that in all those pre-press conferences. They were excited about it. It worked. Don't change it. That might be crazy, and I'm not a coach, so I don't. Maybe that's crazy for me to say this, but I'm just like, don't change it. Keep practicing that way the whole year. Just please don't change it. Yeah, I think those are part of it. I think that also plays in the defense as well. Like sometimes we didn't look as dominant, but if you are going to play at a higher pace, the other team's going to have more possessions as well. That's simple math. So you are going to give up more points. And you have to be okay with that. But we looked better as a team. We won more games, I think, than we would have if we played at a slow, plodding style. There are some things on the defensive end where I do wonder how well we're going to be as a man defensive team. But then other times we look great, where we were flying around. And so I'm like, were those times we looked bad? Was that because we were tired? So it's a little bit hard to evaluate it. And we'll sit back and watch. The coaches know. They've seen them in practice. They know if that is a team that could be good at a man defensive team. And if they think that they can, there's a long time to get better at it. And we've talked about it before, but I'd much rather be a good offensive team and a okay defensive team this time of year than the opposite. Really hard to get people that can't shoot the ball to shoot the ball. It's a lot easier to get people that are okay at defense to be better at defense by March. If that makes sense. So
yeah,
see, some concerns on defense, and I still am like a little bit on the 1-3-1 or 1-2-2 trapping zone thing. But again, I'm absolutely not a basketball coach, so I could be way off base there. And I do just wonder if we'll mix that in with some practice. But they also times look great defensively. And I'm like, whoa, we're flying around out here. I like this. So I just don't know. Because we're not going to have the longest rotation during the season either. It's not going to be as deep as it was last year. So
right.
That's kind of where I'm at on that side. I don't know that I really saw any scheme changes. I just saw spacing and flow changes offensive that were great. Loved it. No hero ball, no over dribbling. Everybody was shooting confidently. More of that. Love it. Keep it. Don't change it.
Yeah. I also liked that, we were getting to like the line and that we were driving in aggressively.
So
yeah. I know. Like everybody was
we're about
doing
to talk
that.
to Adlee Blacklock. Holy bananas. Adlee Blacklock.
Oh yes.
Can't wait to get her take on that.
Yeah, because I mean, it was just like we never saw that before. You look back at last year, and there's just a lot of things like people wouldn't go up strong, and it could have been a basket to tie the game to take us to overtime, or a basket that could have ultimately helped us win the game, and then instead they would get blocked. Like it just was not great. So it was really good to see that really change offensively to have more aggression. And then as far as defense goes, I mean, we're seeing we were talking about in all of our player our onboarding, our new transfer videos. We were all like, hey, like even though like these guards are some of them are under 6 foot, they can block shots. I mean, Sidney Love was up there like swatting the ball and all these things.
Plus block shots in this tournament.
She did, and that just goes to show like how much like that part has really changed, and how much we can be more of a threat defensively. I mean, obviously last year's team, I think right now was defensively better, but this year's team, there were some good and bad moments. I think the only bad thing that I kind of saw was I think our 3-point defense needs to improve a lot. Now that does come with the 2-3 zone that we were playing. As you said, if we would have changed that up into a 1-2-2 or a 1-3-1, then maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. But I mean, you look at that China game in that third quarter, of course, the part that I watched when we were up by 6 and we were holding on because China just couldn't get a shot to save their lives and just kept turning it over. And then the minute that we just gave up 3-pointers, then they just kept shooting 3-pointers, and then we just kind of died. right there and right then and there. So that's one thing. And same thing with Hungary. That's how Hungary came back, was the three ball. I literally told, I was like, hey, we're up by 10 right now, but if we let it go with this three ball, if we let them keep shooting 3 pointers, that's how they come back in the game. So our three defense needs to just get a whole of a lot better, because it's unacceptable. And when we get to Big 12 play, that's not going to slide with some of these really big people coming in for these other schools and these other teams we play. So that's the only thing that I'm kind of like on. But I know we still have to make some tweaks and changes, and we still have more people added. That's why I have to keep telling myself, like, this was not the team that we'll have, when we start in the fall. I'm like, whoa, there's some things we need to fix, but we still got time.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, it's really hard to have like any hard takes from this, because
Right.
yeah, that didn't look great, but like, it's July, and I guarantee if you walked into practice in July for any team right now, they're all kind of struggling with rotations on defense, because defense is really the one that takes longer. So that's why I'm like, we'll find out. The coaches, that's what I said. The coaches know, because they've watched them in practice and they've seen them since early June, and they know, okay, we have the pieces to be a good man team, or they know like maybe we need to mix and match it. We'll find out what their decision is. That was the benefit of this: is they have this tape, they have practice. Now it's about how they use it. So I'm interested to see what they do. They did look good at times too. So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
so we'll find out what the decision is, because it's a big choice. That's why I keep hard, because like you can't just up and decide you're gonna run a 1-3-1 zone out of nowhere.
Right.
It takes work, or a 1-2-3,
It does.
just because of the synergy that you need on it. So that's why we tried to play some zone, but it was 2-3, and that's basic because anybody can run that. So it takes a little bit of buy-in to it. So I just don't know what the decision will be, and we'll find out. But there was moments, and then you were missing people. Like Gemma's a good defender, Snowda's a good defender. Bailey's actually gotten better as her career's gone. So you're missing some good defenders. We know that Sarah can swat shots. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
so how did the new players look? I'll let you start it off with your girl. There's only two of them that play. Jada Malone and Sidney Love. But I know you're a Jada Malone fan, so a fan of both these players, to be frank. Tyler was pitching for both in the offseason, but you go first.
Yeah. So Jada Malone, I will say, I thought it came off a little bit of a slow start in the first few games. And then she absolutely had her breakout game. It was, again, I'm forgetting. Was it Finland? I think it was. Yeah, it was Finland. That was her breakout game. And the minute I saw that, I was like, okay, this is the Jada Malone that like I saw at Texas A&M. This is the Jada Malone that I think was going to be great. She ended up finishing. She didn't play a whole lot of minutes. She only played about 15 minutes in this, but she did finish shooting. We kept talking about in her whole career, she's always shot above 50%. She was able to meet right at 50% in that. Her free throw shooting was actually not the best in her collegiate career. Like it could get by, and it was better than what we've had in the past. But her free throws in this were like really good. She went, yeah, 11 for 13. I mean, she did really. There's a lot of great moments that I saw in that. So, and then also, I felt like that she matched up pretty decently with that big China girl. I mean, that China girl was like whatever. So I'm excited to see games like Iowa State. Like, she'll really be able to kind of get it down. I wish I saw a little bit more rebounding from her, but it seemed like she kind of had, some things figured out. Foul trouble, she wasn't really in a whole lot of foul trouble in that either. I guess because we were splitting the time, which is good. I mean, that's what we said. She's not playing a full 40 minutes. So in her 20 minutes later on in the tournament, she looked a lot better as she progressed through. So I'm kind of excited to kind of see her work through some more things out and then what she'll be able to do. But that was kind of my take on Malone.
Yeah, and one good thing that I liked about her is she played less minutes than everybody, certainly. So remember that she only had 3 total turnovers.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, right here.
It's 20 turnovers a game again, which is an issue. But again, I said going into it, I'm not expecting pretty basketball. But that's still been a trend. But the difference in the turnovers in this tournament, for whatever reason, the majority of our turnovers, especially in the last few games, were coming from our bigs. They were coming from Gaston had quite a few turnovers, and Jalynn Bristow, our front court. But Malone was not a part of that. When she got out there, she wasn't turning it over. So she might not have been as effective offensively as those two, but she wasn't giving up possession. She wasn't fouling people. So yeah, I thought she had moments. And you talked about how she'll be able to match up with Iowa State, which is kind of how we've seen the 5 position in the last few years. Like, just find anybody that can at least play a couple of games for us, and then we'll just play small the rest of the year. And that's kind of how we've had to attack the 5 position. But when you put her against someone like Finland, who was tall but not as big, and she could use her physicality. She did, and she was
Mm,
successful. And so,
yeah,
oh, so that was the game I agree where I was like, oh, I can see I can see it now, and she definitely got better as she went. So I know everyone's obsessed with Deanna Gas, and trust me, girl, if we could get this girl on the team, we're a top 5 team in the conference. That's we're changing from bubble team to that's a whole other conversation. But I think there's some things there and we'll see how Sarah Sonogo has progressed once we get to see her. She's not there with the team over the summer, that they could be a good pairing there. But that is going to be a big thing of how that 5 spot turns out, because I thought we saw some really good stuff 1 through 4 in this tournament. And it's like, okay, what are we going to get from there? But we saw signs of some good things, some things that she's got to work on the defensive side. But yeah, overall, pretty good. The other player was Sidney Love. Turnovers are the only thing that I can say was a negative. Turn it over a lot.
yeah,
But it got better as she went. And we were asking her to play point guard. I don't know if she will play a ton of point guard for us. Maybe as games go later on, but she played like a scoring guard in this, and she went and got buckets and was really good at bringing the ball up the court, which seems like a small thing. She was really good at the small things. And I know some people think I'm crazy for keep pointing this out, but like really good at bringing the ball up the court against pressure, typically. She struggled when she got into the half court and she was static and just standing there waiting for the offense to start. That's when people were picking her pocket. It was weird. But like bringing the ball up the court, she was like between the legs, behind the back, really good. Like we've struggled with that. We haven't really had someone that could just do something simple like bring the ball
right.
without it really bogging down their brain. Like she was fine at that. And then she's really good at layups. I think she missed 1 layup, and it was in the China game, where she's tired probably. 1 layup the whole time. I'm not kidding. Like, I would love to see her at the rim percentage in this tournament. It had to be insane. Like just great. Just very fundamental player and can finish in traffic. I was very impressed. Controlled the game. Wasn't playing hero ball, but in the Hungary game, when it was her moment to shine, the whole team knew it. Go take your girl. She went and took her girl because she had the mismatch. Confident, made clutch free throws. Very encouraged by Sidney Love. I think whether she starts or she's an off the bench player, she's playing. I don't know why I'm afraid to cuss all the time, but she's playing a shit ton of minutes for this team this year. I really believe that she's playing at least 20 minutes a game. She's a dog. Very impressive, Sidney Love. Turnover is the only concern. But if we are going to move her off ball more, where she's just hey, we don't need you to stand at the top of the key. We're going to let Gemma handle that, or whoever. I'm encouraged there. And if for some reason we need her to be the point guard, I saw enough that she's at least better than what we've had because it allows Bailey and Denae to play off ball, which was so good. So I still think it's an upgrade. But yeah, I was very impressed with Sidney Love this tournament.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we were talking about in her video how every time she played against a Power 5 team, or I guess Power 4 now, she was always like averaging like double digits in that game. Like she would always play up to that level. And what I really liked in this was she was consistent like the entire time. There was maybe one game where she like had 9 points or 8 points, something like that, like barely missed the mark. I know, but she looked really good in that, and I think there was a lot of times where her consistency and then that leadership that you kind of wanted to see in that point guard position really came in clutch. I mean, there were times, I think it was the Hungry game. I think you and I both were like, Sidney Love is the only one that's playing like basketball right now. Like,
which
she had urgency
to the other players. She was in foul trouble a lot of that game, so she only played about 19 or 20 minutes. So she was also fresher.
True.
So like,
yeah,
like they were tired, but she was playing with more urgency when she was out there.
She was, yeah, and she just was going to the bucket. Like she was the one that was trying to be the spark. She was trying to be the spark to get us like, hey, like I know that we're right now. I mean, we were actually down. She's like, I know we're down, or I know that we're like gave up this big lead, but like, come on, like we can't lose this. Like we got to be the one to go and get it. And I just really like that about her. She's just a go getter. She wants to do what's best for the team, and she's going to go ahead and do that. And I think that was one of the biggest takeaways that I took, and I really saw that in that Hungry game. Was just everybody else, like, yeah, of course they were getting tired, and I think shots just weren't falling right, and she was the one that was like, like I'm just going to go and just truck through all these people and get to the basket and help, save Team USA. So that's what I really liked about her. That was my biggest takeaway. Is like she loves to match to the level of the opponent, and even like teams like Chinese Taipei, where they're not probably the best compared to who we played, she still was giving her all. She was still putting up a large amount of points per game. So that's good to see that consistency in a point guard because that's something that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, she had 11 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, and a steal in 22 minutes played against Hungary. So yeah, she was really good in that game. She was really under control. Also, why it felt like she was the best player and was under control was she also only had 1 turnover in that game as your point guard in a game where we turned it over 20 times. She only had 1 of those. So
it's really impressive.
It was probably her best game for sure. Big clutch free throws at the end of that game. She made them. So we love it. I kind of talked a lot about that at the end of the show last week, the recap, but that whole moment was really impressive to me. And that's a good segue because we're going to talk about some of the returners and someone that was a big part of that. We'll just start off with Denae Fritz. Looks way more. We asked, I think I'm looking at their outline. Do they look more integrated? Do they look more comfortable? Jalynn Bristow, Denae Fritz, Adlee Blacklock, all 3 of them, we said are going to have to be a big part of this team at this tournament if we're going to win a medal. They all 3 were absolutely huge in what they did for this team in different ways. And to start it off with Denae Fritz, she was big in that Hungary game. She looks more comfortable. She looks more confident. She scored 14 points in the German game without a single 3. Never would have happened last year. She looks like the Denae Fritz we saw at Iowa State, and everybody saw the potential of that player, and everybody wanted when she hit the portal that year. That's what we saw. She's getting back to that, but even better. Now, again, it's not Big 12 basketball, but some of these teams are really good. They're really physical. They're really old. And it's the way she was playing. Because we played some teams that weren't like that great last year either, and she still looked a little tentative. She's back to being her, and like her. So that was great. I think she averaged double figures, played like 40 minutes a game, was exhausted, was a solid defender most games until she got tired. Yeah, I don't have like a lot of negatives from what I saw from her. Couple of games where she looked like she got a little tired and she slipped out of that mode and into more of that aloof mode that we saw at times. But I don't know that it was aloof. I think she was just dead. So I try not to read into that too much because they all had moments like that. But very encouraged. Try not to get too excited about all 3 of these players, to be honest. I've been hurt before, but very encouraged what we saw from Denae Fritz. If we get 12 points a game, Denae Fritz also doing what she is defensively, rebounding. She averaged like 4 rebounds a game. That's Denae Fritz. If we get that in the season, we're winning games. So, I'll say that plainly.
For sure. We're 100% winning games. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. We really did see that Denae Fritz that we were all seeing whenever she was at Iowa State, and she definitely came out in this tournament. We were just like, I mean, I was just kind of like shocking because, last year, like, yeah, she had her moments, but then there was also like, there's still more. Like, we know it's in you. And finally that came out.
We still have not
seen
She got a lot closer in this for sure.
For sure. I'm still waiting on the, 30-point game or whatever it was against Kansas that she had.
Yeah. But yeah.
We can put it out there. We can put it out there. Yeah, we'll put it out there for good vibes and good luck. But yeah, no, I absolutely love that about her. And then I think also what came with that was just her senior leadership that she had, as I talked about on the last week's show. Like, she was the one that was closing out the huddle. She was the one that literally saved our country from not going to the gold medal match because she got like that big 3-pointer like after her
on Denae Fritz game at Nate, because I saw so many people like, she just flung it up there, she got lucky. That is a real shot. Go back and watch it.
It is a real shot. Yes, 100%.
You don't have a phone.
Oh yeah,
you shot put it. I'm just saying she shot that. I don't know how she shot it. I would love to wish there was post game.
Oh yeah,
how she found space, I have no idea, but that was a legit shot.
And she was able to do that. And I think that what that moment in that shot, I think also was like, there was many moments in that game where we could see the tiredness and her shots were coming up short. And then like when it mattered most, she got that bucket in and everybody was just like, Denae Fritz.
Biggest Denae Fritz believers there are. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to shoot a 3. We need to go for 2 and then foul. Literally is what I said. So like, none of us have the legs. We're shooting short on everything. Go for a layup. Then foul them. They don't shoot free throws well, and then go back down and win it again. She said, "Shut up! I'm going to make this right here." It was guarded well and everything. She said, "I don't give a shit. I'm making this right here." That's Denae Fritz, and that if we get that Denae Fritz, now she has killer instinct at the end of games like that. And then you add Bailey Mock on the other side. You have Gemma setting them up. You have a dog in Sidney Love that's not afraid to take the big shot either because she did it in the Hungary game too. Exciting. And another one, Jalynn Bristow was probably, of Lady Raiders, the player of the tournament for us, people that are on the team.
Oh yeah.
She averaged, I'll pull up her points. She averaged 12.7 points per game and 8.5 rebounds per game and shot 44% from three and 47% overall from the field, which is really good for a guard hybrid forward. 44% from three and then fourth in the whole tournament in rebounds. So that's a crazy combination. I need you to know that. One of the best rebounds and one of the best. She was top 10 in rebounds and top 10 in 3-point percentage. Don't see that very often as a combination. I'm not making it hyperbole when I say this, but if we get a Jalynn Bristow shooting 44% from three or even near that and rebounding at 8.5 times per game, we're winning games this year. Like, that is who Jalynn Bristow can be. She's never going to be a bruiser. She's never going to be. I never expect that from Jalynn Bristow. I like the toughness. I like that she was diving for balls. I like that she was going where she could. She was playing tougher without fouling. There was a lot of signs from growth from Jalynn Bristow, and she was shooting confidently, more confidently than anybody on this team. I think she was taking shots that I was like, oh, okay, and then they'd be it. And I was like, I don't know where this came from. This is who you can be. We talked a lot about her last week, so I just repeat what I already said in that Thursday episode last week, but this is the Jalynn Bristow we know that she can be. It'll be interesting to see how she pairs with Malone and Sarah instead of Gaston, who could be that bruiser for her on the inside. I think we're going to need Sarah or Malone to kind of step up in that way, or maybe Snoda, someone alongside of her. They can kind of take a little bit of that physicality off her so she can just be her. But very encouraged. Like, that's an all-conference player that we saw in Germany right there.
Yeah, she had to have been probably one of the most exciting players, like on the actual Lady Raider team that will be returning next year. Like, just to see that growth from Jalynn was so huge, and I think that the three ball was what I was most impressed by. Was just her confidence going up there and just shooting that ball, and then also, yeah, her aggression. I mean, she was diving for balls, but we also can't forget about her steals. I mean, she was getting some clutch, yes, active, just moving all around. Exactly, she was just moving all around. She was all over the players. She was staying out of foul trouble when she could. I mean, it was just a lot more different basketball. It just looked like finally, like, okay, we're playing grown woman basketball. Like, we're here to do a mission. We're here to do a thing.
So much more mature out there.
She did. Yes.
It's only like a few months removed from the end of the season, but I don't know. She grew up a lot in the last few months. I don't know. I was like, okay,
I did.
Let's go.
I know. And I'm totally good with that. I mean, as we said last year, we were like, hey, if we can just get 3 people scoring double figures a game, we may actually win games. Now we could get 4. I know.
On the team, but Adlee was close to making it 5, though. So I'm just.
She was. So I mean, like, there's great things ahead. But yeah, Jalynn Bristow is going to have to be the catalyst, I think, honestly, for this team in order for us to go places and win games. If I'm being quite honest, because her spot at that 4 is going to be really huge when she can be versatile, rebounding and shooting 3-pointers. I mean, not many people do that.
There's just no one else on the team that can do what she does at the 4 spot.
Exactly.
A straight up statement. Denae and Bailey can both be really good shooting guards. God forbid we lose one of them. Please don't. But God forbid. We saw it in this tournament. Bailey couldn't play and Denae kind of stepped in. We get both of them. Hello, let's go cook, right? You lose Jalynn Bristow. Snoda, I get it, could be there if she gets there, but it's just a different type of player. So we really need her to be that good. I'm not trying to put pressure on her, but I hope she's ready for that pressure because this season, in a lot of ways, she's a big part of how it's going to go or not. And if we get that version of Jalynn Bristow, good things are going to happen. Someone that could, maybe spot time for Jalynn, because Jalynn was, interestingly, playing the 3 in this, which she is a natural small forward, if we're being honest. We just never play small forwards because we never have center, and so we're always playing small forwards as the 4, the power forward position, and then we never really have space for a small forward too because then your defensive structure is whack. Sorry, I'm getting technical, but anyway, we've never had a real center, so we haven't really been able to put her there. But in those times where they were playing Malone and Gaston together, she did play a little 3, and it kind of worked. I don't know if she wants to play 3, but it did kind of work. Something to watch. Adlee Blacklock was great in this.
Oh, yeah.
She had a couple of clunker games. I think she didn't score in a couple of games. Don't really know what happened in those. One, she just didn't play a lot. In Poland, we didn't get to see. But every other game, she was super aggressive. We know this is an Adlee, because we've seen it in spurts, but She was attacking the rim, I think I said like prime Michael Jordan. That absolutely up and unders in the air, taking contact, weight rooming on people, getting the crowd going, getting her team going. These step back move dirt fadeaways on the money every time. Once again, if we get that version of Adlee Blacklock, it might be in less minutes. I don't know what her minute. It's hard to know what her role is going to be on the team. But you get that version of Adlee Blacklock, and she's going to be getting some minutes. She was the only player on this team. I know you love plus or minus. I'm not huge on individual plus or minus games, but outliers, I always said outliers are important to pay attention to. Only player that was in the positives in that China game. I don't know what that. I'll have to go back and watch her minutes. Only player. What that was about. So her aggression and then her shooting. I don't even know that she shot it at a high clip from three, but she wasn't afraid to shoot them because Adlee never is. And she made the ones she made all came in huge moments of the game. So yeah, big fan of Blacklock. We could talk more about her, but we're about to an interview's coming up later this week, so I think I'll leave it there on her. But yeah, impressed with all three of the returners for sure.
Yeah, my thing on Adley, I think honestly was I'm gonna applaud her for going 17 for 18 from the free throw line, shooting at 94%, and she wouldn't have missed it if the announcer did not jinx her and say Adley's been shooting 100% at the line, and then she missed it. But other than that, I have to give mad respect for that because we'll get into that later. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, she was getting to the line. Adley was not getting to the line last year. She did a few times, but it was not never. Like this was like a whole brand new thing. Her and who else got to? Oh, her and Denae both in this tournament got to the free throw line. It was like a brand new sighting, and it was so glorious to see. And I hope that that stays.
Exciting. You know how many free throws she shot last year?
How many?
19 total. She shot 8.
Wow.
6 games in Germany.
That's wow.
That's aggression.
Wow.
Play style. That's what we need. She was a one-level scorer, as they say last year. She was a three-point shooter. And they wanted her to drive. They talked about wanting her to do it, and they just couldn't get her there. She's worked on that all season. You can see it. She's a different player. And whether it's 10 minutes that she gets or 15 minutes or 20 minutes next year, if you get any version of that, she's going to be very impactful in her role, and I'm excited. So, yeah, I'm just, now that we said that, she got 18 free throws. She had 19 total last year. Denae Fritz had 16 total free throws last year. You know how many she shot in this tournament, Tyler? 16. Basically met their entire season totals for free throws in 6 games.
Wow.
Me about quality of opponents. There was good teams over here for one, and two, you played some shit non-con teams when we weren't doing this against them. So it's aggression. Free throws are aggression. It's not necessarily skill. So the shooting them is the skill part, but getting them is more about attacking the rim and being in the position. Both of them were doing a great job. So that was big for both of them. Bird Martin, overall, really liked what we saw from Bird Martin. Loved getting to watch her play. I was excited to watch her play. She had high moments. She had low moments. Exactly what I thought from an 18-year-old. I didn't expect these other teams to be quite as old as they were. So then I was even more impressed with Bird Martin because she was the youngest player in the tournament, I think, going against grown women and pros out there. And even when she had games where she struggled to score, she was impactful in other ways. You saw flashes of how good she's going to be. I think that's what I'm most excited about.
Oh, yeah.
I still don't know what her role in this team is going to be. I think you need to find a role for Bird Martin because I think she's too talented to not develop her and for her to just sit on the bench. And so I think she'll have a role of some kind, but you have 2 senior point guards ahead of her. But she can play off ball. She played a lot of off ball in the Hungary game alongside Sidney when some other people were out. I think Adlee got tossed from that game. Speaking about Adlee, we'll ask her about that. But she got tossed from that game for some silliness. And so she had to play some off ball. And I think that might be what she does. And she's good. Like her pick and roll reads, she's tall, she can see over the defense. Had some great back cut passes that we didn't handle, but it wasn't her fault. It was the receiver's fault. Had a few just great passes with her and Malone, a couple of good moments with her and Jada, her and Gaston. She's great vision, great handles, just has to get a little bit better under pressure and being confident in her shots. She was shooting shots. She wasn't afraid to take shots, which I like. They weren't always confidently taken. So under pressure, handling the ball on ball pressure is what people are going to challenge her with all year. She's going to have to get better at that, or they're going to keep picking her pocket. and then just shooting it confidently and in rhythm. Because when she did that, she made them. She's a good shooter. But I really liked the rebounding was there. I don't have like too many complaints for an 18-year-old going over there doing what she did, getting the biggest amount of minutes she's had in a long time. She hasn't played like organized basketball in that way in a while. So yeah, I was happy with what Bird did.
Yeah, I was really impressed with how, even though she wasn't scoring the ball, I think that defensively she had a lot of bright moments in this, and specifically rebounding wise. And I would go to that Germany game. So she had 17 defensive rebounds overall, but 7 of those came from just that Germany game alone. So you're talking about, places where we may just need to throw her in there for a few minutes. Maybe we're in foul trouble, or maybe we just need to give some people a break. You can throw her in there and she can help get us, rebounds. And then we don't have to get stuck in this whole little, like, basketball's a game of runs. And then we let this team go on a crazy run because we keep turning it over. If she can at least get a stop and help us get a stop, I mean, she got basically 7 stops right there. That could be huge for us in the minutes that she can get. And I've always said, her length has so much potential to help us out there, on the rebounding side, maybe even eventually blocking shot side when you see more of that. And because we know she can score. I mean, we watched that. I mean, was it Gonzaga last year? She shot like 2 threes in a row. I mean, she's a shooter. I'm not too concerned about that, but I think we need to find what you said. We need to find a place to develop her and give her some minutes this year where she can like help be a contributor to this team.
Yeah, I think there's a way to do it because again, you're gonna get Gemma integrated as a point guard. You have Sidney that can play that spot, but Bird is 6'2". She can play a lot of positions on this team and then be a creator and just even a spot up shooter. She could almost have Adlee's role from last year in a way, but I don't know what the plan will be. That's not for me to know, but I do think she'll be a part of like a 10-person rotation probably, and she'll be in there somehow. Just too good. She's going to be a very good player and going to be very needed next year. So you want to try to help her get minutes. She has, I don't know, she has the potential to be like an all-conference level point guard if she just figures a few things out, just because of measurables. She's kind of like Jalynn's the same way. We talked about that. Like they just have skills that you shouldn't have for their size. They have,
Yes.
and that's what makes you a special basketball player. And she has the potential to be that. So I'm interested to see. But yeah, encouraged by what we saw there. If she just keeps working, and she seems very focused. Yeah, I know maturity's been like the question mark with her because she came in so young. I thought she was like very focused, and even in their post game media stuff, like was really.
I loved her interview. Yeah,
that's what we came here to do. Like all this stuff. Like I don't know. I saw most. She seemed kind of like she knew the mission. She was there for that. If she can keep that same energy once classes get back, and it's not just ball is life anymore. That makes things a little bit difficult sometimes. Like you gotta balance school and sports and all that. If she can do all that, I think she could have a good role in this team. So I'm excited for Bird Martin and what we saw. We've kind of covered this last one. We wanted to see emerging leaders. We wanted to see good end of game synergy, dog energy levels, aggression on layups. We talked a lot about that in what we just covered. Overall, very encouraged. The only other note I'll add, as I already said it last week, is end of game synergy. If you pull up the analytics, it says we didn't make a single game-winning or game-tying shot in the last 30 seconds of games last year that led to a win. The only one I can even think about is Jalynn Bristow making 3 free throws against Colorado to force overtime.
Oh, yes.
Just don't count that because it wasn't technically the end of the game because it went to overtime. And so that might be why it's not popping up. But that's the only one I can even think of. So she was clutch in that moment. Took a lot of shots in those moments last year. Didn't make them or didn't even take some shots sometimes. The first game we had a chance to do it was really Hungary again, maybe Poland, but we didn't get to see it. Hungary, we got to see it. And 4 different times they made the shot. Jalynn made a shot. It was a little bit under the radar, but she made that first shot to go to 68. Then we give up a corner 3. Talked about that. It's got to get fixed. And then Denae made a massive shot that we've already talked about. Clutch, in her face shot, big time. Goes down, makes a big defensive play. They get it to Sidney Love. I kind of already talked. It's my favorite. Might be my favorite play. I think it's more my favorite play than the Denae 3 because they all just looked and they all basketball IQ'd it. I'm giving them credit here. I might be giving them credit that I should, but I'm giving them credit here because they all seem to look and say, "Wait, Sidney has this 6'4" big on her because of the transition, They had guards on Gaston, but they put 2 on her, so they were doubling her. And they had big on Sidney. And they all just pointed at Sidney and said, you. And Sidney was like, yeah, I got this. One little shimmy, she beat that girl easy, got to the lane, the girl panicked and slapped her arm. That is team basketball. That's high basketball IQ, and that's trust in each other. That's synergy. That is synergy. And they didn't look amiss. There was some games, maybe earlier in that Hungary game, where they got a little panicky. Didn't like that. But they came together at the end when it mattered. A little bit in the China game, in that third quarter, even in the fourth quarter, where like things were slipping away. Got a little panicky. Those are a little bit of red flags. But for the most part, I loved how they didn't over dribble, no hero ball, and they just seem like a group that's a pretty high basketball IQ group. And that's encouraging to me, because if you have players that can read situations like that and be like, okay, this is who needs the ball, and they're not being egocentric and be like, I want the ball. Like, Denae just made a big old ass shot, and she was like, no, you got the mat, you take her. Like, she's like, take it. Like Sidney was like at first trying to pass it to her. She's like, no, you got it. This girl, that girl can guard you. Go do it. That's a team that will win games if you play that way, and you trust it. And it's not because Denae didn't want to take the shot, because we just saw it. She was not afraid to take the shot. That's a difference. Last year we were playing hot potato because everyone was afraid. This one, it wasn't that no one didn't. They all probably wanted the ball, but they noticed that she had it, and then Sidney took it. So that was probably the best moment that I saw that kind of illustrated that. Not trying to overhype it too much or read into it too much, because there's a lot of people they have to integrate into this offense, and if that changes anything, I don't know. But I was very encouraged by that moment for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I agree. I think with end of game synergy, even the Germany game, we didn't get to watch it because of the feeds being down, but I remember watching the play by play and seeing how Jalynn got that steal that ended up tying the game. And then I think Jalynn made a shot that helped us take the lead, and then we were able to close that game out. And then in the Finland game, we were able to go ahead and just, maintain control that entire game. And then in Hungary, we were able to clutch up in the very last seconds. I mean, that was like a real, like that could have been one heck of a difference when you're looking at Baylor last year in that minute.
Tire trip if they had lost that game. I can't explain how much it would have changed everything.
It would have. It would have been. It would have. And I'm just glad that we were able to get that win against Hungary and really show that in like such a tight span of time. And that's also where, you have to play the shot clock well too, because it's like, like there's still a 24-second shot clock. So just because the clock says 30 seconds, the other team is bound to get another possession. So that's where we really had to lock in there. And then even on defense, like we had to make sure that we didn't give Hungry like a great looking shot either, which it got a little sketchy. That's where it got very scary.
Gaston recovered well and made it a tough shot that fell off the rim. But
she did.
It was a good run-up play.
A little scary. Yeah, that's where like defensively end of game synergy. Okay, we may need to make a few tweaks there, and then and you look at the Poland and China game, it was like China game, the game was already way blown out of proportion for it to even be end of game synergy. If it just wasn't for that third quarter, let's all die and let them go on a crazy run, and then we can never catch up again because we were tired. I mean, yeah. But other than that, I mean, it was just that's just kind of what it was. Those games got out of hand, so we didn't really get to. I can't put end of game synergy on that, but the games where it was close, we always came out on top. So that's something that I will take positive from.
Yeah, I agree. We can talk more about that. We'll probably talk more about that as the season goes, but I hope that's not a thing. Some extra observations. One that I'm just going to say quickly because I'm not going to dive too much into it, but I didn't even put it in the notes, is the turnover thing still continues to be a trend. Our 2 games where we were less than 20 turnovers, 16 against China, 13 against Poland, we lost. Those are the only 2 losses. We had lower turnovers. It makes sense. I have a theory in my brain. I don't really like the theory, though, so I don't want that to be true. I'm hoping we can find a way, what I'll say in short is I'm hoping we can find a way to coach a team that can play fast and not turn over the ball. I think we have to slow it down to not turn over the ball, and that's a concern to me. But that could be wrong. We really have to sit down and study it, but I do know that it seems like when we have less turnovers, we're losing. Don't know what that is about, but that's my theory in short, and I don't know. Maybe that won't matter. It's still not. But that goes back to last year. Another thing that was a little bit concerning last year, we talked about it a lot, was we started games not great in the first quarter and then didn't start great coming out of the half either. Something about that wasn't great there. This tournament, though, halfway better. One wasn't, though. Started these games great. Tyler. We were plus 17. I'm not counting the polling game because, again, I know the quarter stats that are in the box score are not correct. These are probably a little bit different both ways, good and bad, if you add the polling game in, but it still overall works. But out of 5 games, minus the polling game, plus 17 in the first quarter of games. That is great. Every game you were positive in the first quarter except Germany, you were -2, and you found a way to come back and win that game. Third quarter, however, was where you lost the China game. You're -12 against China. You got yourself in a hole against Germany. You were -9 against Germany. You had to come back, and then -6 against Hungary. To that's where they started their comeback, and then they carried it over in the fourth quarter. You were -22 overall in the third quarter. Again, it's July. I'm not trying to read too much into it. That's on them. I think the fact that they're a senior group, there seems to be a lot of trust between the coaching staff and the players. Maybe the players can just tell the coaches what's up. Like maybe it's they need more time to warm up. Maybe it's like something's not clicking in the halftime adjustments if it's going back to last year. Someone just needs to be honest there and fix that before the season gets here. Because this cannot be a trend that continues into the season. Because it kept you too close, and you were +3 against Taipei. That wasn't even great because that was the team that should have blown out. And if you're much better in the third quarter, you blow Taipei out. Even Finland was your best game in the whole tournament, only +2 in the third quarter. But it was your best game in the whole tournament, right? Those are your 2 biggest margins. You were positive in the third quarter. Math. Just saying. I don't know what it is, what's going on at halftime. It's hard to take it from a 6-game thing. But again, this is something last year too, different players, but it was. So that was one positive and red flag. Because it was great. The first quarter stuff was great. Let's keep that going. How do we replicate that for the third quarter? Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think about last year's team. There was one game in particular, which this is the last time I'm not even going to mention the opponent.
God,
it was such a bad game.
Virginia,
yeah. Oh, you know where I was going. Yeah.
We don't need to talk about it. That's all we need to say.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it. But basically, the point is basically some games were done by the first quarter. That's just how it was. Now it's like, okay, we can hang in the games, bring it into halftime, but yeah, we're still having these third quarter troubles. And then when I'm thinking of third quarter troubles, I'm thinking of how great we were against K-State last year, and then the third quarter, it just was a complete like train wreck. At least this wasn't too bad. Like there wasn't like a huge like 28-6 third quarter. So I mean, at least that we were able to keep close. But it's still it's a big enough run to let it get out of hand, and then that's when we start.
Let's be frank. It's what lost you the gold medal.
100%.
You lost by 12. You were -12 in the third quarter. So it's true.
That's what's key.
I want this team to do what they want to do this year. I do. So I'm going to be honest and say that shit cannot happen during the season, or we're going to lose games that we shouldn't. So was like probably the only thing where I'm like really concerned besides the turnovers. But I saw some positive on the turnover side, where I'm like, maybe it's our bigs and that can be fixed. Our guards are pretty good about it. But this third quarter thing, like it cannot be a season. Love the positive side on the first quarter. So maybe that's, but again, I trust there's so many seniors. The coaches seem to trust the players. Sometimes I tend to think the players know what it is and they know what they need to get ready for this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they will have those conversations already had. So that's what I'm hoping is that a team that has a little bit more trust there, a little bit more senior group, and maybe even new voices or thoughts from other coaches can fix that. And maybe we're deeping it, but I just genuinely want this team to do what they want to do. And this was the biggest concern for me. I was like, that can't be a thing in the season. That this can't carry over. It's going to be a struggle. So
right,
yeah, I'll stop harping on it. I'll let you go into other things.
Yeah. Yes. So one of the other things is it's gonna make me happy because free throws. We gotta really, really, really make our free throws because there was way too many moments last year where free throws, if we would have just made them, we probably would have won some games and probably could have made an NCAA tournament bid. So I was really looking out for that because even some of the new transfers we signed, their free throw percentages, it wasn't anything super, nothing to write home about, right?
Well, we had, but that's
right.
Too much.
It could get by, but it's like you're right. But it's like I expected better. Well, overall, the team shot 82% from the free throw line, and I think didn't they lead the entire
Yeah,
country, or not the country, the entire world in free throws?
the whole tournament going into the final game.
Okay.
They were up there, and then Adlee led
Yeah.
individually as well. So
Yeah, I mean, super impressive stuff. And I mean, you look at all those people. I mean, Bird went 7 for 8 from the free throw line, 88%. We already talked about Jada Malone going 85% from the free throw line. Adley obviously had that breakout, 94%, almost 100 performance. Sidney Love, 83%. Shout out to Sidney Love making free throws in clutch moments. The only other person that I knew that could do that from the team last year was Jalynn Bristow.
yep.
Bailey Maupin earlier in the season, but I mean, like, there's people.
Bailey's got that in there. I mean,
Yeah, Bailey's got that
Bailey's
in
clutch.
there.
Last year was a misnomer. I don't know what was going on. Or that's not Bailey's going to go back to Bailey. Free throw line Bailey.
Yes, for sure. So I mean, now you have like 3 people that can make free throws at the end of the game, and it's not like a complete like, oh no, we're gonna lose our minds. And I mean, you look at someone like Sidney Love; she can now drive to the basket and she can make her free throws, unlike some other people that we had last year. Where yes, and layups exactly. So we're not getting missed layups, we're not getting missed free throws. I mean,
I'm such a big fan.
Oh, 100%.
Fundamentals.
Huge fan. Such a huge fan. So yeah, I mean that's just good to see. I mean everybody shot above. I mean other than who is it? Other than it looks like
Jalen, Winfrey.
Oh yeah, Winfrey barely had any.
Yeah,
but yeah, Jalen 64. But again, Jalen's 2 free throws. If she would have made those in the third quarter, that was one moment that I thought really was a turning point on China. We gave China the gold medal at that point. Was probably just tiredness. But if Jalen would have made those 2 free throws, we could have kept China more on their toes. Versus when she missed those, it converted into China making the shot, and then they went up by like 8 or something like that. But she would have made those 2, her percentage would have been way up. Yeah, crazy how that works.
Small sample size, it can go either way quickly. But yeah, free throw shooting was great. I agree. And then the other one that was good was rebounding. No, we're both big on that, and we said, hey,
oh, for sure.
Made us a better team last year was we started rebounding the ball. We did not get out rebounded in a single game, and we were outsized in a lot of these games. Like is by most of.
I should have seen China, the big, and Poland, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we took advantage of our guards. Rebounded really well in this. I think I said Denae averaged 4, Adlee was around 3, Sidney's up there around 3. Like those are really good rebounding numbers for guards, and I think that's where we won it. Is while we were outsized in the front court. But even Jalynn, 8.5 a game. I mean, Gaston was rebounding like crazy. That definitely helps, and we're not going to have that. So you're going to need more from Malone and Sarah, but. Yeah, you didn't get out rebounded in a single game. Even China, you were even Poland. The 2 games that you lost, you didn't win the rebounding battle, but you were tied. So, but all the games.
I'll take it.
Battle in, you won the game.
Crazy how that works.
Those were good signs, really. Free throws and rebounding for the most part, or positives overall. I mean, when you look at our team rebounding numbers overall, we were pretty low, I think, as a team rebounding totals, but we played a harder schedule than a lot of people as well. So when you're looking head to head against everybody we played, didn't get out rebound once. It's hard because Gaston had so many of those, but she wasn't our leading rebounder. Jalynn Bristow was.
It's good. It's a good thing.
Denae rebounded a lot better at this than she did last season. She rebounded how she's capable, how she did at the end of last year. She was doing that. Sidney Love kind of did what we expected her to do as well. Adlee rebounded really well in her minutes. Everybody was playing impressive. Bird, we know that. Yeah, so that was positive. Gonna have to carry that over. So, yeah. There you go, guys. Broke it down for you. That's your last huge breakdown basketball episode for a while until we get to the season. We might lie to you. We'll probably break one out once a month because we can't help ourselves. We'll do previews of the season or something. We just love basketball too much around here. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun to get to watch them play. Overall,
yes.
It's weird sometimes to say you're proud of them because I don't really know them like that. It feels like such a the thing you say about family or something. But I am. I feel like they, Gerlich said she wanted a team. They wanted to make their fans proud or whatever. That's what she said in her interview. That was their goal as a program, to make themselves proud and to make Red Raider Nation proud. I think they did that in this tournament. I think they got momentum as well. That's probably the last thing I ended on is this team didn't have a lot of momentum. Maybe internally they did, and that's all that matters. But externally, where we exist, trust us, we're hearing it from everybody. people just either weren't talking about them or it was not great. And they turned some heads in this and maybe got some people's hopes up, which can be painful if it doesn't work out. But I think they have people's hopes up again that maybe this will be the year that they turn a corner. A lot of work has to be done between now and November. But they got a major head start, and I want to give kudos to Krista Gerlich for doing this. Because I'm telling you right now, it was a major risk, and I didn't want to voice that in the pre-thing because I don't want to put that in the ether. But let's be honest, if they did not get a medal in this and they struggled, it would have been a major egg on a program's face that was already getting egged by a lot of people. And she said, I believe in us. We're going to bet on ourselves that we can go over there and not just compete, but show y'all that we're different and that we have something here that we're proud of. And we're going to put the work in. And they did that. So they deserve kudos for that. And now it's about what they do with this head start. You can't, sit and be happy with it. I'm sure they're resting and all that they should for some time. But now it's about how they use this head start so they don't get behind again. But kudos to them. They deserve to be proud, soak it in. Excited to see what they look like in November. Hopefully they've taken some strides and all the new people. I know they're really excited to get in there. Bailey, Gemma, Julie, Sarah, and them haven't been here. But overall, positive. They work on what they need to work on. I'm trying to be hopeful. I really am, Tyler. I want them to do. I like these players. So I'm not going to say anything else than that. I just like these players on this team. I like how they play basketball and they play for each other. And the way they went about it this week, I really respected. And they seem like a team that actually really gets along in the right ways. And I really want them to do what they want to do. I really do.
For sure. I mean, what an honor for them to represent Team USA. I mean, you look at it and it seemed like, when we were tired legs, it was also because, we only were really working with like 8 people, if we're being quite honest, 8 to 9, yeah, 7 people really. And other teams had like, an entire second team basically that they could have put out there behind it. And we were still pushing through and we still were able to medal. So, to try to give y'all some hope, I'm whipping up some stats from a while ago, and I tweeted about this. 2019, when Mississippi State was representing Team USA, they got a silver medal, and they were the national runner-up. Yes, Bree Scott. They were the national runner-ups. They were the second best team in the entire United States in women's college basketball, and yet they got a silver medal. The Lady Raiders, we were far from anywhere from the second of this. No offense, but we were way from the top of college women's basketball team. Oh no! I'm saying I'm saying that like we still did the same as that team. So I'm saying that we have potential that we could book our tickets to Phoenix. So y'all remain hopeful because that team got second place in the entire United States and still got a silver medal. We got a silver medal and we weren't even anywhere near second place last year. But we got the right pieces to where maybe we can make some moves. We can carry that momentum over. We are going to do some really exciting things. So I'm super excited, but that gives me some hope. So y'all can't completely dog on them because even the second place women's basketball players in the country couldn't even get a gold back in that thing. So I don't know. I think that there's some things that all y'all need to like look at from a bigger picture instead of just tweeting behind the screen and being whatever. I'm proud of them. I'm glad that they represented Team USA. Again, it was a high risk and hopefully it turned out to be a high reward when we look at the end of the season, the start of the season, getting all this extra practice time. I don't know. I think of some good things that came out of this. So I'm really glad that we did this, and I'm really glad that we got to cover Lady Raider basketball in the summer. It was super fun.
Yes, I feel like we didn't get a break again for the second summer in a row. This is just me being old and cranky. But reasons, last summer it was Jerry Glasgow and Naja Kennedy taking up our usual July. We sleep in July. That's what we always joke about. Didn't get to sleep last July. Didn't get to sleep this July, really. I'm going to be honest. Soccer starting next week. We're already back at it. It's fun, It was fun. It's totally worth it. So thank y'all. Appreciate it. Let's do it again in November. I can't wait. I think it did. It just made me a little bit more excited for the season. I'm always loved basketball and I was like hopeful for this roster, but to actually see it and be like, okay, I'm not delusional. There are good things happening here. Now just hope my little heart doesn't get crushed, but I have hope. And they should be proud of themselves. They should enjoy some time off, take care of their bodies, be smart, and then they got to get back to work. Like, there's a lot of hard work that has to be done still, but good head start, and we'll see where it takes them. So, again, depending on when you're watching this, we'll have an Adlee Blacklock interview coming up in a couple days. I think we'll talk a lot about what we just talked about. We'll probably learn a lot more about this team and give us more hope and more reasons to love them. I can't wait. Or it might already be out. So check our page depending on when you're watching this. They're coming out the same week, and then we're getting into soccer. We'll come back to basketball down the road, but it's been fun. So thank you, Lady Raiders, for a fun July, winning silver. And I'm gonna figure out if y'all can give me one of those mascots, I'll pay you for it. Someone on the team has to hate it. Like one of y'all has. I'm kidding. Don't give me your mascot. But if you have an extra, I'll slip you 20 or something. Adorable. It would look great back here somewhere. I think that would look great right there. That's my last. Like, if you want to give Tyler one as well, he might not. He's like, Shelby, I don't want stupid stuff.
No, I want the Team USA jersey. I thought they looked super new. The blue one. Yeah.
I'll take that. No,
I'll take the blue jersey.
I hope the players got to keep their jerseys. We asked her
I know.
and she wasn't sure, but they have their names on them. What the hell is USA gonna do?
I know, and it Texas Tech logo on it. Like, what? Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Frame them, put them up in your house with a jersey. It'll look hype. So, congrats, y'all. We'll see y'all. Next time you see us, we'll be talking to Adlee Blacklock. So, deuces. Wreck 'em.